as mentioned, the core energy, we have two alternative, like fundamentally, obviously there's more levels, one level out, underneath, but fundamentally we've got the potential of having a centralized dirty energy future,
Yeah.
or a decentralized clean energy future because of the reasons mentioned. 11%, you avoid 11% loss of transmission, you can deploy faster and so on. Where is the optimal place for decentralized clean energy is?
Yeah.
Where the sun is the brightest, the grid is the dirtiest, so you're avoiding the most amount of emissions, and that's really Africa. So similar to the fact that Africa bypassed the phone, the first landlines, they just went straight to mobile phones, and it absolutely became a booming industry. Like the MTN story in Nigeria is always one of the most mentioned, success stories of Africa. But Africa's just got so much solar irradiance. About 40% of the world's solar irradiance falls on the African continent. Really? They've only got about 4% of the world's solar. Decentralized local clean energy projects in Africa in general. Our first market has been South Africa. I happen to also come from South Africa, even though it's a Swiss company. That's really the market that we focus on because it's been so ideal in terms of the solar irradiance, in terms of the grid emissions, in terms of the fact that there's been outages with the electricity.
Yeah.
And also there's a carbon tax law as well there. That's one of our main forms of revenues, is monetizing those emissions reduction. And then really we help accelerate the deployment of that optimal form of energy with a lot of clean energy projects, your rooftop solar systems. And there's just been a massive issue with trust in that regard. So one of the reasons though, even though it's so obvious that clean energy, particularly local clean energy projects, are optimal. Yeah. So just clean energy as a whole, solar is on average 52% cheaper than your fossil fuel-based alternative, the coal plant. Even though it's so much cheaper, it is so much more optimal, there's still a $2.3 trillion funding shortfall. And one of the main reasons for that is the trust in the data of these projects.
So is it just people are reluctant to change? Is it a mindset thing, or is it a generational thing, or is it they're happy with what they know?
So, energy is called power, and there is a definite play on words there with power. So there is still $1 trillion of subsidies, indirect and directly, going towards the fossil fuel-based energy. Because once you have that power, you don't necessarily want to let it go.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's really, in particular with that optimal local form of energy. So you don't really necessarily know what's going on with your energy production. So many of our clients, solar developers, they've got thousands of small scale projects, but they don't know because there's various different inverters. So they don't have a single unified dashboard normally of knowing what's going on across their portfolio of assets. So there's that problem with the energy data. Then you don't necessarily know what's the quality of the project. Like you don't want to be cutting down trees in the Amazon to create a solar farm. That's counterintuitive. It's all about going to a clean future. Yeah. So you have the issue with the quality of the projects, and then you don't necessarily know how much impact is being generated. Only 84% of all carbon credits that were generated never actually reduced any carbon. Yeah. So there's massive, one of the core issues, trust, greenwashing, trust, that's the problem. And if you can get that right, if you can have that data and automate the analysis of that data, that's when you can start making these projects highly interesting.